Hello. Do you love springtime, but you just can't stand that allergic rhinitis? I'm Dr. Hamilton Stubbs. I'm a doubly board certified sleep specialist and a nutrition specialist, and I want to talk with you about allergic rhinitis because you probably want to know, is my allergic rhinitis keeping me awake? If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. I'd love to have you. And don't forget to select notifications. When you turn that on, you'll know when I upload a new video. I try to upload videos every Wednesday. So, welcome to Dr. Hamilton Stubbs' Sleep and Total Wellness YouTube channel. Allergic rhinitis is probably one of the most common problems that happens in the springtime, but it also happens in the fall. Allergic rhinitis affects about 20 to 50% of the general population. It even affects children, but this video is only for adults. When you have allergic rhinitis, you get some symptoms that are very common, and the symptoms are runny nose, itchy eyes, watery eyes, sneezing, even coughing at night, or itchy throat. You can cough during the day too. But what you may not realize is that researchers have shown people with allergic rhinitis have difficulty falling asleep due to the allergic rhinitis. And if they do fall asleep, many people with allergic rhinitis can't stay asleep. So allergic rhinitis is affecting your ability to fall asleep or stay asleep, which we know as forms of insomnia. People with allergic rhinitis also have problems with snoring. And if you have problems with obstructive sleep apnea syndrome, allergic rhinitis can make the symptoms even worse. Allergic rhinitis just decreases the quality of sleep. So what is allergic rhinitis? Allergic rhinitis is inflammation of the nasal passages. The nasal passages are the linings inside of your nose. When you breathe in allergens like pollen or dust mites, they irritate the nasal mucosa, and that triggers an allergic reaction that causes nasal congestion. That nasal congestion can even block the flow of fluids from around your eyes, and this will give you puffy eyes and those dreaded dark circles. So you really want to pay attention to symptoms of allergic rhinitis and try to reverse them. So what triggers it? It can be anything that you're allergic to, but some of the most common causes of allergic rhinitis include dust mites, pollen, animal dander, and mold. Dust mites are these tiny insect-like creatures that tend to live in our bedding. They're in your pillows and maybe in your comforter, your box springs, your mattress, and you don't even know they're there. But they're irritating and they live off of dead body skin. You can try to control these because you're never going to get rid of them completely. They just happen to be creatures that share your home. Some of the things you want to do is you want to be aware that heavy carpet, heavy drapes, places that tend to collect dust also tend to be nice homes for dust mites. If you have stuffed animals in your room or upholstered furniture, you could have dust mites living in those places too. The most common trigger for allergies and allergic rhinitis is dust mites. When you have a problem with dust mites and you having allergic congestion from other things, this will be a compounding effect on the nasal passages, and this will cause nasal congestion and making it difficult for you to breathe at night. What you can do, we're going to talk about that in more details, but right now, just washing your bed linen, your pillows, removing the pillows that have feathers and replacing those with hypoallergenic type pillows, and encasing your pillows, your mattress, your box springs in liners that are designed to keep dust mites from interfering with your sleep. They try to keep them at bay. Another common trigger for allergic rhinitis is pollen. Now, pollen tends to be heaviest in the spring when plants are coming into bloom. If you happen to have nice, pretty shrubs or trees right by your bedroom window, you might notice that certain times of the year, usually in the spring, when you open the windows, you have more problems breathing. This is because the trees and the shrubs will produce pollen. You can also get pollen coming from weeds, flowers, and even your grass produces pollen. When you open up the window, you let all of this into your bedroom. And if you happen to be outside, you're going to get pollen on you. When the pollen count is really high, you can tell because it will coat things on the outside, like your car window. And if you walk through the grass, it will even coat your shoes, a nice coating of yellow. The allergies of the pollen season trigger allergic rhinitis, and a lot of people use over-the-counter nasal sprays to try and decrease that nasal puffiness. But we'll talk more about your treatment later, because if you use things like nasal sprays, they will temporarily relieve the congestion. But if you use them continuously, sometimes 4 or 5 days in a row, you can get a rebound reaction, which means that your nasal congestion, which was controlled by your initial use of the nasal spray, returns, and usually it returns even worse than before you started using the nasal spray. Another common allergen is mold, and mold usually accumulates in places of high humidity. So if you have a bathroom right off of your bedroom, you may have some mold growing in there. You want to try to wipe down your shower. I like to use some type of cleanser that will kill the mold on contact, and always leave the shower curtain open so that air can circulate around the shower. I also like to open up the window in the bathroom just to get more air to circulate in and try to cut back on any mold growing in the bathroom. The other trigger is pet dander. If you sleep with your pets in the bedroom, and a lot of people do, um, it might be time to find another place for your pet. Good luck with that. But pets they don't make good bed partners. Some pets actually snore. Pets can have restless nights that keep you awake. And for this dog, they can have animal dander, which could trigger your allergies. So allergies tend to get worse at night because we are surrounded by things that could have triggers. Your mold coming out of the places that are moist, that have moisture in your home, dust mites if your windows are open, and if you haven't changed the filters in your air conditioning, your heating system, or the humidifier or dehumidifier, these are all sources of triggers for allergies. And it tend to be worse at night because we go into the bedroom. Some people close the door, but you open up your windows, but you're confined to this area for 8 or more hours or somewhere around that extended period of time. So you have a lot of time to breathe in these allergies, these allergens. So how are you going to sleep better if you have allergic rhinitis? I created a dust mite checklist, and it's going to be on my website at drhamiltonstubbs.com blog. So just go to drhamiltonstubbs.com, look for the blog, and put it in allergic rhinitis and insomnia, and you should be able to find it. So you want to complete the dust mite checklist which means you want to make sure that your bedroom windows are closed. You wash your pillows and your pillowcases. You have to do this kind of often. And if you have feather pillows, switch those out for pillows that are labeled hypoallergenic. Put a mattress cover over your mattress, and you might want to also put one on your box springs. Wash your linens. Vacuum the carpet. Now, you don't want to vacuum the carpet right before you go to bed, but you want to vacuum it sometime during the day, maybe after you get out of bed. And you want to keep it vacuumed so you can pick up a lot of dust or any kind of dust mites that might be living in that carpet. Dust your furniture off. And all cleaning products in the bedroom, I like them to be natural because cleaning products that are not natural could have toxic chemicals, and this would create a toxic bedroom. And those toxins could be irritating, or the toxins alone could cause you to have a restless night and poor quality of your sleep. So try to find some non toxic uh, cleaning solutions to dust down your furniture, to clean your floors. And if you're using something to fragrance your bedroom, remember you want to use things that don't have toxins in them. If you have a ceiling fan, be sure to dust that off. And one trick that I saw is to put a pillowcase over the blades of your fan, when it's turned off, and then you just use that pillowcase to wipe down the blade. And what this does is keeps the dust from going all over your bedroom. If you have flowering plants in your bedroom, you want to take those out of the bedroom because even though they're houseplants, if they flower or go into bloom, they could be sending out some pollen, and that could be adding to irritants causing you to have allergic rhinitis. Some natural remedies for allergic rhinitis. You may not have thought about this one, but changing your diet. That's probably one of the biggest things you can do. Your diet is going to affect your gut bacteria, which is your microbiome. The gut bacteria have a lot to do with your immune system. And that's what allergic rhinitis is. It's an overreactive immune system causing allergic problems in the nostril and congestion. When you change your diet, you change the microbiome if you change it to healthy foods. And by this, I mean eating foods as close to its natural state as possible. So you want to avoid some foods. Say goodbye to fast foods. Most fast foods, and I'm talking about foods coming from the major fast food chains, are cooked in oils that kill off your good bacteria. They also have a lot of preservatives, and if you are making food so that it won't spoil, those things may also be killing the bacteria that you want to keep in your gut. Fried foods. The oil in the fried food, it may be too much for your good bacteria. If you're having polyunsaturated fatty acids from your oils, you want to get rid of those. Those will kill off your gut bacteria. And those oils are coming from like soybeans, sunflower, canola, vegetable. Those are all oils that are not really good for your gut bacteria. If you like sugary drinks and, if you're trying to supersize or add to your order, you're usually doing that with either some fries or you might be adding a beverage, and your beverage choices often are high in sugar. Your good bacteria do not like large amounts of processed sugar. That will kill off your good bacteria. And processed foods. So avoid these things is a good way to start improving your gut microbiome. When you eat real foods, meaning foods close to their natural state, you're going to nourish your gut. And this would be with fruits and vegetables. I prefer to be heavy on the vegetables and a little lower on fruit. And that's because fruit has a lot of fructose sugar, and large amounts of fructose may trigger other symptoms. You also want to be cognizant that you're eating not just probiotics, the things that will feed your bacteria, but you also want to eat some prebiotics. And prebiotics are the undigestible foods that nourish your good bacteria. Prebiotics are anti-inflammatory, and so are your probiotics. Research has shown that if you exercise, you tend to improve your immune system, and it helps with controlling your allergies or controlling your response to allergens. They don't really know why exercise will do this, but exercise in moderation will help your allergic rhinitis. Nasal cleansing is something that we don't do a lot of in America, but we are starting to see more opportunities to do nasal cleansing with things like neti pots. I don't use a neti pot. I like to use just a clean, damp cloth to clean around the nostrils. But you can use things like nasal saline irrigations, which can be done with your neti pot, or you could just go to your local pharmacy and ask for a nasal saline irrigation solution. And they usually come with a container, or you can get a container and you'll put it in the nostril and shoot up some saline. The reason I don't like that is because if you're not careful, I think you can introduce bacteria into the sinuses and cause more problems. So I like using just a damp cloth, blow your nose into some tissue, and then use a damp cloth to kind of wipe out any pollen that might be sitting on those nasal hairs. If you're a person that likes to cut all your nasal hairs, you might want to just cut the ones that are obviously protruding and visual, and leave a few in the nostril so that it can catch some of the pollen and irritants that are in the air. Um, Here's some foods that could help you. Now, this is controversial, but local raw honey helps some people. Honey is not recommended for young children. And remember, this video is only for adults, and I'm only giving you information, not medical advice. Some of the other foods that could improve your gut microbiome is things like green leafy vegetables, especially if you're having them in your smoothies. Fermented foods. I prefer to make my own fermented foods like fermented sauerkraut. You can do kimchi. But the reason I do that is when you buy fermented foods, you have to be careful that they haven't been pasteurized because that will kill off the bacteria that you want. So if you make your own, and there are lots of videos and educational tutorials to teach you how to do that. When you make your own, you can have live bacteria. You do have to make it correctly because when you use wild fermentation, you could have an overgrowth of mold and bacteria that you do not want. I like to use kefir as a form of a probiotic. It has lots of good bacteria in there. And if you have a problem with lactose intolerance, a lot of people can tolerate kefir. For prebiotics, I like Jerusalem artichokes. They grow like wild sunflowers. If you are living in an area where you can grow your own, be careful because they will take over your yard. They grow like a weed. But wild Jerusalem artichokes are great prebiotic. There are some herbs that you can grow, or if you're in an area where you can find them, stinging nettle. You can also get stinging nettle tea from many of the big box grocery stores and from your health food store. You can order it online, or you can just grow your own. You can order stinging nettle seeds, or if you have a friend who knows stinging nettle, just ask them for some seeds and plant your own. Stinging nettle can be an invasive weed, so you want to be careful where you plant it because, hey, the name says stinging for a reason. It will hurt. You want it to be someplace where you're not going to be walking through it and you don't have children or pets that are going to get exposed to the stinging nettle. And you want it to be a place where if it spreads, it's going to be okay with you. You can try growing it in a pot. Butterbur will help you with your itchy, watery eyes. And peppermint. Now, peppermint is another herb that is also invasive. I have a lot of luck with growing peppermint in pots. You can probably find a peppermint plant at your nursery, or sometimes in the grocery store, you'll see these pots of herbs in little containers surrounded by plastic. You can take that and try to put that in a larger pot and grow your own peppermint. I like natural, fresh peppermint. I use it for tea. You can also just chew on it to get the oils, or you can buy essential oils. And some of the essential oils that are thought to help with allergies include peppermint, eucalyptus, and frankincense. Supplements. Now, this is controversial too because people always tell me, but I don't want to take vitamins and supplements. I want to get that from my food. Well, sometimes you can't get all that you need from your food, especially if you only shop at big box grocery stores. We need a variety of foods in our diet, fruits and vegetables in our diet, and sometimes even some healthy edible weeds. Yes, I say weeds because the backyard is a great place to find some really good nutrients if you haven't been using chemicals on your soil. But some of the supplements that you may want to have is quercetin. You can get this out of fruits. Spirulina. That is a very good supplement to help you with just general nutrition and your allergies. You want to be careful that you don't get too much iodine anytime you're using spirulina or seaweed products. Bromelain, which comes from pineapple, and your omega-3 fatty acids. I use a supplement, but you can also get that from some food sources. Some of the vitamins that could help you with allergic rhinitis are vitamin C and vitamin D. And it has to be D3. The vitamin C and vitamin D3 work by supporting your immune system. If you want to try to get your vitamin D3 naturally, sun exposure is the way to do that. You want to go to the EPA website and make sure that you are not going outside at the time when the UV rays are the most dangerous. So in some areas, like where I happen to be, our practice is in Richmond, Virginia, morning before 10 a.m. is the best time for us to get some sun exposure. When you get your sun exposure, depending on the pigmentation in your skin, you may need to be out there for 10 minutes all the way up to 30 minutes. You want to protect your eyes. Wear dark sunglasses that offer UVA and UVB protection. I also like to wear at least a 4-inch bill hat. And I use sunblocker on my face and neck just to kind of slow down the aging effects of the UV rays. I do like to take a vitamin D supplement because I don't think we can get enough vitamin D from sun exposure unless you're conscious about getting sun exposure often for the right duration and the right time of day. So if you are having problems with allergic rhinitis, these are some things that might be able to help you make it through this season. If you are having severe problems that are interfering with your sleep, or if you just need some additional information or you want to get information about some of the things I've discussed in this video, talk with your primary care physician or your health provider, which might be a nurse practitioner, a physician assistant, a naturopathic doctor. I've put this on my blog at drhamiltonsdoes.com so that you can have a printout if you choose or a visual aid to help you when you talk with your healthcare provider. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to share. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'm waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.